Hey, everybody, it's me, John Ward, and I am back with another Reviews After Midnight. And on the last one, I had to have this to help me get through the movie. I like Natural Ice. I'm more of a Sam Adams guy, but I like Natural Ice. It is very cool and refreshing. And but this time, I didn't need this. So we're just going to, it's not even open. Just gonna put it over here. Why did I not need it? Because I actually watched the film I liked. And it's not great. It's not bad. It falls somewhere in the middle, but I did really enjoy it. And it happens to be this film here called Nature Calls. And this works for these videos, because like I said in the last two videos for Reviews After Midnight, is it's going to primarily be Dollar Tree movies that I've never seen. Well, this is a Dollar Tree video that I bought that I got for $1. And the last one was VHS. This is DVD. And the last one was a horror film. And this is a comedy. I picked it up because I like who's in it. And says here, I'm trying to wear my glasses more on these videos, but sometimes I just have to take them off. So it has Patton Oswalt, Johnny Knoxville, Rob Riggle, and Patrice O'Neill. So that's everybody on the front there. The funny thing with this cover is, put my glasses down here for a moment. There is a raccoon in the movie, but it's dead. And these scouts, because this is a scouting movie, like the Boy Scouts, play with it for a little bit. They kind of beat the crap out of the dead raccoon and then bury it out of respect. But there is no skunk. No skunk in the movie. So kind of weird that that's put there. Maybe it's a scene that's missing from the film. Let's see, the review on it is a hilarious descent into madness from Film School Rejects. And I'll show you the side. You got the back. And I actually thought that this was pretty fun. I am not a fan of man-child movies. And I don't care what you say. I don't like Adam Sandler. Never have. I like him in dramatic performances. I've enjoyed him in stuff like Funny People. I liked him in Spanglish, Punch Drunk Love. I like him with that type of stuff. I think that he is a good dramatic actor. As far as a comedian, do not find him funny at all. Just don't. He's a man-child. I mean, how many times can you be 50 years old and fart and find it funny? It just isn't. And I've just never enjoyed any of his comedies. I take that back. I liked Wedding Singer because it actually felt like a movie. And is there anything else? Maybe 50 First Dates, I think it's called. Maybe the one with Drew Barrymore. I think I only watched it once, but maybe. But Wedding Singer is the only one that really comes to mind. I just don't like his stuff. So I tend to kind of, stay away from this type of thing. There's a big difference between there's stupid humor and then it's like stupid dumb humor and then stupid smart humor. And Adam Sandler is stupid dumb humor. Something that is smart dumb humor is like Airplane, Blazing Saddles. It's dumb, ludicrous humor that is hilarious, but written by smart people who know what they're doing. And the other side just isn't. They're just not funny. So I tend to shy away from this type of stuff. So I thought I was going to need this, but I don't. And I did watch a trailer for this on IMDb. I think it was a PG trailer, and it was horrible. I'm like, oh my God, what am I getting myself into? Then I watched a trailer, like a Red Band trailer on YouTube, and I thought the trailer looked really funny. And because there was swearing, there was just kind of gross out humor. Excuse me. So I thought, okay, let me give it a chance. And I had already picked this. So I kind of had to watch it, anyways. Plus, I got home from work and I just wanted a comedy. And I didn't feel like shuffling through, all the different streaming channels to find one. I said, you know what? Let me watch this. Maybe it'll be okay. And the only thing that I, needed while watching it, because it's scouting, it's camping and all that, is, oh, I hit my mic, a hot dog. So I will be eating my hot dog throughout this. Plus it's near dinner and I'm hungry. So I figured, why not have a hot dog instead of a beer? This will be my second hot dog, actually. And this is good for cooking and all that type of stuff. What do you roast at a campfire? A hot dog. And so I'll be eating a hot dog while giving this review. And for those of you who say, is John going to continue using props? What is he, Carrot Top? Oh, God, no, I hope not. I'd rather be Gallagher. But no, not really. From time to time, I'll bring in a prop that I think might be useful and, try to have fun with these reviews. So let's take a look at the back. Because I already showed you the back here. So let's see what it says here. There is a review on top, a brazenly foul-mouthed but ultimately soft-hearted comedy of bad manners, and that is from Variety. I would agree with that. I'd probably say this is kind of like not the same story, but comedy-wise, for like foul mouth and crude, will be more like American Pie, something like that. There is, let's see, it was the official selection of the South by Southwest Film Festival from 2012. So this is an oldie. Special features are Nature Calls Behind the Scenes, Access TV, a look at Nature Calls, outtakes and theatrical trailer. I'll get into a little bit more of that a little bit later. Is rated R, which is good. And here's what it's rated R for. Language, some sexual content, and nudity. And this movie deals with scouts. I mean, these kids actually look like they're the age of scouts. Not these kids, but the kids in the movie. It runs 79 minutes, but it's more 1 hour, 19 minutes, and 7 seconds. And yes, it did come out in 2012. It's released through Magnet, and it's widescreen, which is good. It's written and directed by Todd Rohal. Yeah, Rohal. Todd Rohal. I looked him up, and he did like a whole bunch of shorts that are kind of like weird shorts. And in one of the, I think it's like the behind the scenes, they talk about seeing what the director would do with a more mainstream script. I was surprised to see that one of the producers on here is David Gordon Green, and who of course works a lot with Danny McBride and is directing the new Halloween movies. What else? Not seeing. There is the Johnny Knoxville's wife is played by Mara Trini, I think it is Mara Trini. I think that she was originally on Northern Exposure, and I think she was also in the remake of Insomnia. You also have Daryl Hammond. He's in this too. So let's read what this is about. Let's see if the back gives this film any justice. Let's see. Determined to honor his father's scouting legacy and mount one last comeback for his dwindling troop, Assistant Scoutmaster Randy Stevens, Patton Oswalt, that's him right there, and he's also right there, plans to pays a visit to his business-minded brother, Kurt, Johnny Knoxville. He's right there. Who is throwing a television-themed slumber party for his newly adopted 10-year-old son at his Mac Mansion? Mac Mansion. Television-themed slumber party for his newly adopted 10-year-old son at his Mac Mansion. I wonder if that's just supposed to say mansion and not Mac Mansion, but okay. He has a mansion. Randy pressures the boys to secretly ditch the party and join him on a weekend scout trip. Pursued by Kurt and his security guard, Rob Wrigley. Yeah, I think that's Wrigley. Rob Wrigley, who's that guy right there. We've seen him in a ton of movies, including The Hangover. The adventure lands the boys in trouble at every turn, pits them against angry parents and park rangers, yet ultimately turns the group of sheltered kids into a troop to be reckoned with. And it's funny, the back here shows 2 raccoons and even a squirrel. And like I said, the only raccoon in this is Dad, and I don't think you see a squirrel in this either. What's the inside look like? The inside's kind of fun. You put the yelling or yawning raccoon in there. So I like that. They changed it around a little bit. And so the DVD, Blu-ray sounds pretty good. And it's, let me look at get into the special features here. So, like I mentioned, Nature Calls behind the scenes is not a bad. They're all pretty short. This is 4 minutes and 52 seconds, and it's a pretty generic behind the scenes look. But it's got some funny moments in it, but it's pretty much just a fluff piece for the movie. But it's fine. There are outtakes that are funny that last for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. The Access TV, A Look at Nature Calls, is 4 minutes and 32 seconds, which basically combines new stuff with Nature Calls behind the scenes. And then there's theatrical trailers. And it's funny as they give, pardon me, allergies. The theatrical trailers, it's just the 2 Nature Call trailers, which I guess is also fine. I mean, because they give the PG one, which is not very good, and they give the the R-rated one, and so you get both of those trailers on there. And then there's also one called Also from Magnolia Home Entertainment, and there's a couple on here that I took interest in. One is, of course, Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, which is one of the trailers on here, which is a great film. If you've never seen it, you should. I really hope they never make a trailer. I'm sorry, that they never make a sequel to the film. I just don't want them ruining the first movie. Another one is Goon, about hockey, which I really liked, with what's-his-face who plays Stifler. I think they even made a sequel to it. There might be 3 of them by now. But it looks fun, all hockey and violence and all that stuff. But then there was a film that I really want to see, and I hope I want to find it, called Deadfall. And that one looks really interesting. So check that one out, the trailer, if you could find it. So one thing that I did like with the movie is, background basically, 2 brothers, who's Johnny Knoxville and Patton Oswalt. Their father is a scoutmaster and used to take them out as scouts as kids. Patton Oswalt loved it. Johnny Knoxville hated it. And so Patton Oswalt became like the assistant scoutmaster, and his scout like troop is now down to like 4 or 5 kids. When his dad, it was like 80 or 90. And he wants to do like one last camp out, which they normally do in the parking lot because the mothers are helicopter parents and they don't want their kids out of their sight. And so they'll let them only go as far as the parking lot. One kid cannot go out of I think Patton Oswalt said a 2-bar, like for a cell phone, is a 2-bar area. So Johnny Knoxville has this party and all the kids are invited. It's like a theme TV party. And it's basically, Johnny Knoxville, his wife, the security guard, and then a bunch of these kids. And Johnny Knoxville has adopted I think he's supposed to be 10. It's an African child. And he barely speaks. Like he only says maybe a couple words in the whole movie. But he actually ends up being one of the best characters in the film, and kind of the driving force to get everybody together at the end of the film. And the dad is like the Knoxville and Patton Oswalt. The dad is pretty much on his last legs, and Patton Oswalt really wants to do something nice for him. While Johnny Knoxville thinks that he should be left in the retirement home where he's comfortable and safe. And so Patton Oswalt basically gets the dad, gets his 2 assistants that are also in the troop, and like I said, get the dad. They at night when everybody's asleep, Patton Oswalt breaks into the mansion where Johnny Knoxville lives and bribes. Well, I'm sorry, not bribes. He convinces the kids to come with him to this part of the woods that is chained off. You're not allowed up there anymore, and saying it's going to be great. It's like 10 miles off the beaten path. And they decide to go with them. Excuse me. This is my one of my newest mugs. It says, "Life is better with a furry companion." In my case, it would be "Life is better with furries, leave out the A. Life is better with furry companions," since I have 2 cats. And I kind of thought it was appropriate, cats, animals outside. So I thought it might be appropriate. And then they get into the scout van and head off. Johnny, the wife, notices that the kids were all missing, tells Johnny Knoxville. He leaves with the security guard. Johnny Knoxville owns a company that does ATM machines, and they're being put everywhere. Churches, bathrooms, fast food restaurants, everywhere. I mean, absolutely everywhere. And I didn't point this out. So even for this video, I took down one of my pictures and I put up a forest. See? Thought that was appropriate for today too. It's a nice painting. I'm into paintings. So I thought that was appropriate too. So the head of security is the Rob Riggle. And of course, he's very over the top, like he always is, always kind of crazy. And the weird thing is that he keeps bashing on Knoxville's wife, who is the Mara Trini. And but she just kind of puts up with it, just like, "Oh, you're an idiot" type of thing, which maybe back in like 2012, that would, that's allowed. But these days, no way is anybody going to get away with that. And so Johnny Knoxville, the security guard, and one of the kids does not go on the trip. And this kid is hilarious. All the kids in this are good. I am not a fan of kid actors. Most kid actors are bad actors. And the directors always have them like know-it-alls. They're always precocious, and they're just kind of obnoxious and annoying. And I wish this movies would leave kids out, unless you're a director like Steven Spielberg or somebody who knows how to work with children really well. Just stop. But surprisingly, these kids act like kids. They're smart, but they're not like adult smart. And they each have their own personalities, and and they're actually funny. I actually like the kids. And this one kid who decides to stay back at Johnny Knoxville's house, is constantly hitting on his wife. And he's just like, offering her drinks. He's offering to help her with food. I mean, it's pretty funny. And this kid does a good job. So I liked him. I like this kid. I like all the kids in this. So some other things that I like before we continue with the story is the credits. I like the credits because it's done like stitching. So it matches like the badges or things that are on like a scout uniform. So it's got kind of that Stitcher type look or Stitch look. And I like that actually somebody put an effort out into making these credits match what the movie is. As I mentioned, one of the executive producers, David Gordon Green, who I'm a huge fan of, even though I think Halloween Kills is one of the worst Halloween movies. That's a whole other thing. The kid that's hitting on the wife, his name is Kent. Very funny. One of the things I like in it is the kid, the adopted kid who's from Africa, is new to this whole thing, and he just goes to it. Like he wants to be outdoors. He puts on the uniform. And they never make fun of him. They never make fun of each other. The kids are nice to one another. They actually like being around each other. They do kid stuff to each other, but it's not mean or vicious or anything. It's just that they like being around one another, and they work as a team. And I like that. I like that a lot. I appreciate that. The humor in it is, it can be juvenile, but it's not horrible. I did not mind the humor at all. Now we're going to get into spoilers. Once the kids are up in the woods, it seems to be going great. They've set up this whole camp. They got the tents up. They got the fire going. They're dancing. They're like playing drums, like, on like whatever they can find. They're having a great time. And Johnny Knoxville goes and he finds them. His two guys, the security guard and one of the dads, they went with Johnny Knoxville, and then they stopped when they got busted by a ranger. The other guy, I think it's maybe, I'm not familiar. I've seen him, but I'm not familiar with him as an actor. Is Patrice O'Neill him? So he's one of the parents that goes with him, that goes with Rob, and that goes with Knoxville. Patton Oswalt at the beginning of the film thought that he died during surgery, and told his kid that he had died and how to deal with grief. And of course, he tells it in the worst way possible, and he gives him bad advice. So when the dad gets home from surgery, which he did have and lived, he's perfectly fine. The kids think he's a ghost and won't come near him and are terrified of him. And it's actually kind of funny. And so he wants to kick the crap out of him for scaring his kids and making them think that he's now a ghost. So when these three guys go to find Patton Oswalt, these two get busted by a ranger, and they end up in a weird, almost cult-like carnival camping thing where people are running around and drinking and doing drugs, and they're kind of worshiping this ranger, and they're really kind of freaked out about it. So they kind of hang out in this camp for the rest of for most of the movie, and it's Johnny Knoxville by himself. One of the things that the kids do see, and it's never explained in the movie at all, is a totally naked woman, sunglasses, like the aviator glasses, blonde, like long blonde hair, totally naked, on a motorcycle, and she's driving through on the road in the woods. And the kids are like, oh my God, boobies, 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 butt. And they love it. And so Knoxville kind of ruins everything. Even though technically he is doing the correct thing, Patton Oswalt is way too obsessed with camping. And it's like his entire life. Like, we don't get much background into him, but from what we could see, he doesn't have a wife. He doesn't have a girlfriend. I'm not even sure really what his job outside of being in the Scouts is, but he is absolutely 100% obsessed with scouting. And Knoxville is absolutely 100% obsessed with being a man. So he wants his son to be the adopted kid, to be a man. He doesn't feel that what Oswald is doing is going to make him a man. He feels that, you know, video games, porn, you know, working on cars, all that type of stuff, that, you know, hunting or whatever, that would maybe make him a man. So he ruins everything when he tracks them down at the camp. The camp sets on fire. Oswald is in a sleeping bag from his two assistants who betray him because they don't want to go to jail. So they stuff him in a sleeping bag, and he catches on fire, and his feet catch on fire. And then Knoxville totally catches on fire, and he always has with him like a really expensive Bluetooth. And because that's another thing, is money, you know, if you have money, you're a man. And he catches on fire, and then in the morning, his feet have to be all wrapped up and gauzed and everything because he's been put into a fire. Trust me, this is funny. I mean, even though people are set on fire. And then Knoxville is just, he looks like Two-Face. Like he's just half burnt, and the Bluetooth has burned into his skin. So he keeps getting shocked every time someone tries to call him. And his hands are all burned and everything. So he tells them, go get me a stretcher. I need a stretcher. And earlier in the film, when all the kids are at his house and they're watching TV, they are watching people burning on screen. And they're like, oh, wow, this looks really fake. People don't run around like this when they're on fire. So he makes this pose. And one of the kids goes, do you mean a cross? And he goes, no, a stretcher. He goes, I think you mean a cross. Because one of the kids is really religious. And it's actually pretty funny. And so instead of making them like a stretcher and having him just be comfortable, they find two logs and make a crucifix. And then they strap him to the crucifix. So they're kind of carrying him, you know, like this, like he's Jesus on the cross. And he just does. And of course, they're bumping him and everything like that. And he doesn't like it. And I thought that was pretty funny. There's a fair amount of religion in this movie, which I thought was kind of strange. And you know what? I have not had my hot dog. I am going to have a bite of my hot dog. So excuse me. Not great, not bad. Dollar Tree stuff. But hey, it's a hot dog, and it matches what I'm doing today. So the adopted son, the kid who's from Africa. Oh, I forgot to mention. So while all the chaos is happening and the camp is on fire and people are on fire, they have a whole bag of fireworks. And the dad, like the dad, the old dad who was the original scoutmaster, is in a wheelchair. He's got the tank with him, and he's got the tubes, and he's got like the flags on the back and everything. The fireworks and all that stuff, and the fire hits the canister, the gas canister, and the dad smiles like he knows that, like this is the way to go. And with an explosion, fireworks, fire, and the explosion would just blows him up, just cremates him. But like he's ready to go. He's happy because he's been on this event. He went out there. Patton Oswalt, he did give him the Master Scout badge or patch that he has. He takes it off of him and gives it to him, making him, passing the torch to him. And that makes Patton Oswalt really happy. So when the morning comes and all that, of course, Johnny Knoxville and Patton Oswalt butt heads, because even though Johnny Knoxville is kind of an asshole and Patton Oswalt just wants what's best for the kids and his dad and everything, Johnny Knoxville is correct. You can't just kidnap kids. You just can't kidnap elderly people. You can't do this. And it was very unsafe, but Knoxville made it worse. So, and of course he blames it on his brother. So fast forward, one of the moms comes to the house and the wife is there and she's making up excuses, but the kid there who likes the wife says, "Oh, they're out camping." And the mom's like, "What?" And the kid's like, "Oh yeah, read my lips." And I think the kids are great in this. I think they're hysterical. And the mom tries to, cover his mouth from saying, that they're camping. And all these moms come in and threaten to beat up, like the mom. They threaten to beat up Johnny Knoxville. They threaten to beat up, Patton Oswalt, all this stuff. Like, where are our children? Because they're all helicopter parents. Their kids are not, they can't go 10 feet away from them. They're to me, helicopter parents are horrible. They're the worst type of parents out there. And so she's like, you take us where they're going to be at. And the mom had originally found a map with that area circled that Patton Oswalt is going to. She's like, well, okay, we're going to go here. And then they all hop into minivans. So they're all soccer moms. And there's this long row of I want to say 6 or 8 minivans that are heading up to where this campsite is. Excuse me. And they get there and everything kind of comes to a head. I mean, there's a lot that happens in this movie for such a short film. I mean, I'm leaving out stuff too. It's the the old dad, the one that's in the wheelchair. They have his wheelchair over and him on the ground, and there's a branch sticking out of him, and it's all bloody. And the kids find him, and they don't know what to do. They just kind of freak out, and it's a test, is what we find out. In the making of, the director, who's also the writer, says that a lot of this film is based on his experiences in the Boy Scouts with one camp master, or with one scoutmaster, and that this stuff really happened to him. And it was a test, and the kids freak out. And this, once again, it's just Patton Oswalt, just not his character, not doing stuff well. It's like, it's well-meaning, but it's wrong and terrifying at the same time. And so what other stuff? So I don't keep jumping ahead and having to go back. There's a scene with all of the kids and the assistants peeing on the side of the road, which is funny. That's when a ranger comes up and finds them. They get on the road, they pee, they drive up, they're hiking. Yeah, so I think that's the majority of it. So everybody comes to a head. So you have Johnny Knoxville, you got the Patrice O'Neill, you have the security guy, you have the wife, you have all the wives, and then you have the kid, all the kids, but yet the adopted son is missing. And what he is has become completely engrossed into this whole camping thing. He's got the uniform on, he's got a cape, he's got all these lines of string with all the kids' cell phones on them that are all ringing at different times because it's the moms calling to see where they are. But Patton Oswalt said, put them in this bag. You're not having any electronics on this trip. And he's made up this whole thing. And in this pot is their father, the guy for the wheelchair. Because he was blown to bits, they have him in a pot and it's just ashes. And he knows that the adopted son knows this is what what he would have wanted. And he just opens it and just throws the ashes everywhere. And people are just shocked by this. But he knows this is what he would have wanted, and it's true. And then everybody comes together. There's, of course, one of the moms like slaps Pat Oswalt a couple times, and he's just all messed up from the fire and just being out there in the woods. And Johnny Knoxville keeps coming up as they keep putting him up like he's Jesus on this cross, and people are just shocked and scared and terrified. And at one point the kids do find the motorcycle and the dress of the naked female driver of the bike. Once the mothers say, like, well, where are our kids? So all the adults are there, is what I should say. All the adults are there. And they said, well, where are our kids? And all of a sudden they look up and there's all the kids. And right in the middle is the naked woman on a motorcycle with the sunglasses. And she's got all the kids by her. And which I thought was hilarious, that you have these like 10-year-olds just standing right next to a naked woman. And almost like they become friends with her or something. And, everybody is united. Johnny Knoxville and Patton Oswalt, they make up. They're okay now. And I don't think there's, just everybody's better. Everybody's nicer. And it's just a fun film. So, I mean, if I'm leaving stuff out, I'm kind of glad I am, because the film is on Tubi. Or if you can just find it, the Blu-ray or even the DVD at Dollar Tree. So if I am leaving anything out, that's okay. That's fine. It's just, I recommend it. I'm kind of all over the place with it. I'm trying not to take as many notes on these types of things. But just kind of going off of memory. I did watch it yesterday, but it is a fun film. It's a very fun film. I recommend it. I am going to have another bite of my hot dog. Waste not, want not. All right. And I recommend it. A couple of things I noticed at the end during the credits is there were 18 production assistants on this movie. I counted them. 18. It does say, I guess, footage, because at the TV party, there's like 10 TVs set up, all different sizes and styles. And there's a whole bunch of stuff playing. But it does say footage, The Collector, courtesy of Wicked Pictures. So I'm not sure if this is The Collector, the one that had the sequel, The Collection. And then they're doing a third one that's coming out. But I thought that was funny, that The Collector is in this, if it's the same movie. I don't know if Wicked Pictures is the one who made it. I guess I could have looked it up, and then it does say, copyright 2012 Troop 41 Productions LLC. So I wonder if the original title of the movie was called Troop 41. I mean, Nature Calls is a pretty typical title. I mean, it's very, hey, let's rename this movie. Troop 41, I like better. That's probably what it was written originally under. And then Hollywood said, no, let's change it to Nature Calls. Because they're unoriginal and boring. But yeah, that's pretty much about it. So please go out and check this movie out. And have a good time with it. Have a hot dog or a beer with it, or just water in a pet mug. There's plenty of. I didn't drop any of that. I'm impressed. So, thank you very much. Thank you for joining me on this third video. And I will be back again with a fourth one. I get to do this once a month. And I guess that's it. So thanks. I will talk with you all later, or see you later if I ever meet any of you. I guess that's it. Bye.